Welcome to the audio version of Tales of the Axe by Ross P. Psuty. The Old School. In the small town of New Brunswick, New Jersey, behind all the glamour shops and flashing stoplights, there lies an abandoned school. But it wasn't always abandoned. There was a time before the overgrown weeds and vines covered its surroundings, where there were students and teachers roaming those empty halls. But that all changed when the police found human bones in a hidden room behind the janitor's closet. The townspeople blamed the janitor. They said he was the one who did it, and that he was an odd individual. Before police could question him, he disappeared. No one knows what happened to him. Some say that he still roams the school, waiting for his next victim.
"Yeah, okay, Brad," Michael said. "I might be new in your town, but that doesn't mean you can tell me ghost stories all day."
"No, it's true," Brad answered back. "Just ask anyone in town. They'll tell you."
"I don't believe you,"
Michael said as he walked away. It was a difficult time for Michael, moving into a new town, going to a new school, and even making new friends. He had been living in town for only 2 weeks, and he had never heard about any story about the old school. Why should he believe Brad anyway? Michael knew better than to believe stories about some crazy old janitor who roams the halls looking to slaughter people. On his way home, Michael decided not to take his usual route. He decided to walk a different way, a route that took him past the old school. Michael felt he knew what he was doing. That's what he told himself many times as he walked down the sidewalk. Michael wanted to know if there was any truth to these rumors. Michael walked 3 miles before he reached the other part of town. For some reason, it didn't look as nice. He noticed more litter, which cluttered the streets. Traffic seemed to be less visible along these roads. The buildings around him looked mostly deserted and falling apart. At the end of the block, he noticed a large field had opened up in front of him. The yellow wheatgrass was long and dead, and an old rusted fence surrounded the property. He looked out past the tall grass and saw the old school standing alone. The sight mesmerized Michael, as he noticed most of the windows were boarded up, and where there once were open doors, now were locks and chains. It would be getting dark soon, and he knew he had to be back home. His parents would worry. Even though Michael was 15 and he felt he knew how to take care of himself, he didn't like to worry his parents, especially being in a new town and not knowing many people. The next afternoon, Michael saw Brad at school.
"Hey, Mike," Brad started. "Sorry if I scared you yesterday."
"No, you didn't scare me," Michael answered back. "I knew those stories weren't true."
"No, they're true all right," Brad stated.
"Listen, I saw the school. It was locked up tight. No one can get in or out of there."
"Billy Martin did," Brad explained.
"Who?"
"Billy Martin. He found a way in one night."
"Yeah, okay, Brad."
"No, trust me," Brad said.
"I was there. He went in and never came out.
Actually, he was a lot like you."
"What do you mean, like me?" Michael asked harshly.
"Billy didn't believe in the rumors either, so he and a few of our friends went to the school one night. We stood in front of it and dared each other to go in. Billy took the dare. He was certain that nothing was going to happen to him. He went in and never came out."
"Maybe he went home. Maybe he was playing a joke on you for waiting," Michael said.
"That's what we thought at first until..."
"Until what?"
"Until we heard a scream," Brad continued. "We think it was Billy, but we didn't bother standing around to find out. We ran back home, and still to this day, nobody knows what happened to him."
"Brad, I told you these scary stories wouldn't work on this new kid."
"Okay, tough guy. Why don't you meet me and a few of my friends up there tonight at midnight?
Then we'll see how brave you are."
"Fine, I'll be there," Michael said proudly.
The boys went their separate ways. Michael walked out onto the school's parking lot. He never heard the car drive up to him.
"Hey, Mike," a female's voice yelled out.
The voice startled Michael at first.
"Hey, nice car, Joy."
Joy was the first person Michael had met in his class. He watched her park her red Trans Am next to him and stood up out of her T-top. She wasn't born in the 60s, but tried to dress the part. Her dark blonde hair was in long braids. Michael then noticed her clothing. She was wearing a pair of bell-bottom jeans and a brown denim jacket with fringe.
"Where are you hanging?" she asked.
"Nowhere, I'm on my way home."
"Sounds cool."
Joy sat back into the car seat. "Hey, I saw you talking to that weirdo Brad kid." "He's okay," Michael said unconvincingly.
Yeah, but be careful. He and his loser friends like to tease the life out of people. Don't worry, I can take care of myself, Michael assured her. Okay, I hope to see you tomorrow. Joy placed her car in drive and raced away. I hope so, Michael whispered to himself. He wasn't sure if he should go through with this dare tonight. Michael also felt that if he didn't do the dare, Brad would continue to tease him. That night, before midnight, Michael dozed into a deep dream. He pictured himself running down a darkened hallway at the old school. Close behind him was an old man who had scars upon his face. The man limped awkwardly with each step he took. In his right hand he carried an old rusty meat hook. The bloodstains that covered the hook chipped away as it was being dragged across the hallway lockers. The faster Michael would run, the closer the old man seemed to get. Michael could hear the screeching noise of the hook as it seemed to be getting closer. In front of him was a pair of doors that led outside. He could sense the old man's breath on the back of his neck. The doors were now at his reach. With all his might, Michael pushed at the doors, but the powerful chains held them closed. With all hope taken away from him, Michael knew that he had lost. He laid his head against the locked door and waited for death to come. A loud buzzing noise of his alarm clock woke Michael from his bed. It was 10 to midnight. He ignored his dream and went out to meet Brad at the old school. Brad and his friends were already waiting when Michael arrived. Didn't think you were going to show, Brad remarked as he leaned against the school's rusted fence. Yeah, we thought maybe you were too chicken to go in, one of Brad's friends spoke out. No, I'm here like I promised, Michael replied as he sounded up for the challenge. Well, you may be here, but you're not in there, Brad said, pointing to the old school in front of them. And that's what we came here to see. Michael looked at the school and then took a deep breath. I'm going in. Brad seemed surprised but tried not to show it. Michael walked through the opening of the fence and treaded through the long wild grass. Before long, he had reached the school. Most of the bricks looked cracked and discolored. Graffiti scattered the walls as broken beer bottles covered the edges around the school. After circling the area, he saw a piece of wood hanging off one of the broken windows. It was a way in. Michael pushed the wood aside to give him enough room to enter. It was dark and creepy inside the empty classroom. No chairs or a sign of a teacher's desk. He went to the classroom door and opened it. It made a loud creaking noise which echoed through the school. Michael walked into the hallway. Only small cracks of the moonlit sky found a way in. With the little bit of light he had, Michael walked down the hallway. He started to venture around, hearing nothing but his own footsteps. This isn't really that bad, Michael thought. I don't know what everyone is so scared about. He looked into each classroom. They were all dark and empty. Well, I think I've been here long enough. I think I've showed those guys that I wasn't scared. Just then, Michael heard a noise. It seemed to come from behind a door at the end of the hall. This door was further than the others. He walked quickly down the hallway and arrived at the mysterious door. He slowly opened it. This was not a classroom, but a long, narrow hallway. There was no way that he wanted to go through and see where the hallway led, but Michael felt curious when he saw a light that shined in the distance. He walked down the hallway and entered into another room. The room was surrounded by old rusted pipes which led to a giant furnace. Michael walked past the giant furnace and came to a dusty wooden workbench. The bench was cluttered with books, tools, and a large metal axe. His eyes also caught something else. There on the workbench was a broken and dirty ashtray. On the edge of the ashtray laid a single cigarette. It was slowly burning away. Seeing the lit cigarette, Michael was scared. He looked around the room to see if anyone was watching him. He looked to his right, left, and then up. His jaw slowly opened as his eyes widened in disbelief. There, on the ceiling, he saw dozens of dead carcasses hanging off of different-sized hooks. Back down the darkened passageway he ran, out of the door and back into the main hallway. He continued to run but had forgotten which classroom door he had first come out of. Michael ran down one hallway, then another, but each classroom door looked the same. Michael ran as fast as he could as the noises from his footsteps echoed through the school. He didn't want to, but he had to stop to catch his breath. He huffed out from his tired lungs and listened. The sound of footsteps did not stop, and they seemed to be getting closer. He walked quickly with all the energy that he had left. He turned right and saw a pair of doors that led to the outside. The hallway was long, but he knew he could make it. Michael picked up speed and prayed that the doors were not locked. The sound of the footsteps behind him sounded as if they had gotten closer than before. He started to run harder. Michael had a feeling that he was racing for only one thing: his young life. He reached the doors and gave them a hard shove. The doors swung open with ease. "There he is," one of Brad's friends said, and started to laugh with the others. Michael, still breathing heavily, saw Brad's friends laughing in front of him. Before he could say anything, he felt a hand grab his shoulder. The fear hit him hard, his heart beating too fast for him to catch his breath. Michael turned around to see Brad gleaming with a big white smile. "Can't scare the new kid, huh?" Brad asked as he started to laugh along with his friends. Michael backed away when he saw a gruesome-looking figure come out from the school. He tried to warn Brad, but couldn't open his mouth in time. All he could do was watch. Watch as the gruesome man's axe came swinging down across Brad's waist. Blood poured out of his mouth as he stood there still laughing at Michael. Brad's friends screamed and grabbed Michael before he became the next victim. "Louis!" someone shouted. "How many times have I told you not to leave the school?" Louis lowered the bloody axe and made a small whimper sound in front of Joy. "Come on, I'll help you clean up this mess, but no more," Joy said as she helped her brother clean up Brad's lifeless body. Later that night in the back room of the old school, Louis sat there cleaning his axe as he tried whistling to a small tune. Far back into the dark corner, hanging from an old rusted hook, was Brad's blood-soaked head.